So, you've been asked to attend a job interview. Now what? The prospect of a job interview freaks most of us out, even when we're confident in our own abilities. This presentation is designed to help you boost your own confidence when it comes to interviewing for a job. I'm Catherine Oldham, Manager of Skills and Jobs Centres based at Victoria University Polytechnic. Remember, Skills and Jobs Centres are a free service operating at all TAFEs across Victoria to help everyone in the community explore their career options and become job ready. Part of that process involves us providing advice about effective job interview techniques and developing the confidence to do well, and this is what I'll be talking about today. The current job market is rapidly changing and extremely competitive, so it's more important than ever to understand the keys to success in job interviews. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought with it many challenges. With regards to employment, these challenges are significant. One of the biggest recent changes has been a movement towards online and telephone interviews for job vacancies. Lately, we're all turning to digital tools more than ever to help us connect and get things done. And this is true for employers who are now seeking and employing workers, often without meeting them face-to-face beforehand. There's no doubt that a job interview via telephone or video can be nerve-wracking, especially if it's something you haven't experienced before. But the Skills and Jobs Centre is here to help. Traditionally, the first thing to consider when you're requested for a job interview is the type of interview you'll be undertaking. What form will your job interview take? Will it be by telephone, face-to-face, a pre-recorded video, a live video interview via Zoom, etc.? Will it be one-on-one, or will there be a panel of interviewers? Will it be very formal, or will it be a more informal chat? You need to know this before you attend so you can be prepared. If it is going to be a video interview, as is common at present, focus on preparing the equipment you will need to use while there's still time to sort out any issues that might pop up. Find out which program or app you'll be using for the interview. Check with the employer and download it if you need to. Video calls can be done on most devices, laptops, tablets or smartphones included, so choose whichever device you feel most comfortable with. If you're using your phone or a tablet, try to position it steadily in front of you rather than holding it, as your hands could be shaky in the interview. Set up your camera and check your microphone and sound volume. Do a trial run by contacting a friend or family member on the same program if possible, so you can identify any issues now while you can still fix them. Set up your location. Find a suitable, quiet, well-lit spot for your interview and get it ready. You'll want to position yourself roughly in the middle of the screen, facing front on and not too close to it, far enough for at least your head and shoulders to be in view. Make sure there'll be nothing distracting behind you during the interview or anything you wouldn't want an employer to see. Okay, so you're all set up. How do you now prepare for what you'll say in your interview? As I've said in previous presentations, do your research. Before a job interview, this involves checking and fully understanding the position description of the job you're going for, evaluating your suitability based on your previous employment experiences, your career objectives and your skills, researching the organisation so you fully understand what they're all about, looking at similar roles and organisations to get ideas about what might be required of you, and organising all the relevant paperwork for a personal career portfolio, including your resume, copies of all your certifications, letters of recommendation if you've received them, and examples of your work if this is relevant. Once you've completed your research and your career portfolio is all organised, it's time to practice for your job interview. The easiest place to start is by getting a friend or a group of colleagues to ask you sample questions along the lines of those you might be asked in your interview. This comfortable, safe environment is a great way for you to practice making eye contact, to note your verbal presentation, and to pay attention to your body language. You can practice using positive body language to signal confidence even when you're not feeling it. Now comes the time for you to attend your job interview. Focus on small details at this point. If the interview is face-to-face, make sure you have your clothes, your career portfolio, your transport arrangements and directions to the interview site ready ahead of time to avoid any last-minute complications. The same is true for video or telephone interviews. Make sure your tech is all set up and working well. Just on clothing, it's really important that you look the part, that you not only act, but that you dress appropriately, even if it's a video interview. Consider your clothing carefully. Regardless of the dress code in your potential workplace, you should always ensure your clothing is neat and tidy and that you're well groomed. No matter the format, when attending a job interview, the most confronting aspect is usually the fear of what questions will be asked and how you might answer them. At the Skills and Jobs Centre, we work closely with clients to prepare for this by considering all the possible questions that may be asked and practicing how to answer them. Our clients regularly tell us that this preparation made them aware of their own skills and worth to an organisation, and therefore far more confident during their interview. Our advice about answering interview questions consistently follows 5 key points. 1. Treat the interview as a two-way discussion. It's not an interrogation. Your interviewer just wants to get to know you and decide if and how you may fit into the organisation. 2. Answer questions honestly, directly, and keep to the point. Avoid any long-winded responses and unnecessary details. 3. If you're not certain about how to answer a particular question, don't be afraid to ask if it can be rephrased. 4. Listen. Never interrupt and answer only what is asked. 5. Common questions arise in most job interviews, so be prepared, but try not to rehearse your answers or answers that are too precise. So let's talk about the common questions you might be asked in a job interview. Question: tell us about your background. Often the first question is a request for a summary of your professional background. It's quite acceptable to repeat the major points you've outlined in your resume or letter of application. The purpose of this question is to get some context about you as a worker. Practice how you might sum up your employment experiences and qualifications simply and clearly. If it's your first job and you don't have a professional background to summarise, focus on things like your education and qualifications, or your volunteer or extracurricular activities. Question: why do you think you're qualified for this job? When you're asked about why you are qualified, remember to mention all those qualifications that could make you suitable for the position, including any educational achievements, employment-related training and experiences, licenses or short training certificates, and relevant personal interests or accomplishments. In many cases, this can be the question that will win or lose you the job, so your answer needs to be clear and memorable. Question: in what ways are you experienced to undertake this role? Here is where your research pays off. Your answer should include details about any relevant employment you've had, any community or educational experiences, and a discussion of how your experiences relate to the industry or organisation and the position itself. Question: what is your reason for applying for this job? In other words, why do you want this job in particular? Your answer should describe what you find appealing about the position, how you've prepared yourself for a career in this industry or organisation, and how you believe your present or previous job equips you for this role. Question: what are your career objectives? Hopefully you've already addressed this in your resume, your cover letter, or your responses to any key selection criteria, so your reply to this question should be consistent. Be ready to discuss your long-term aspirations. Your best approach is one that indicates you've thought about your career in these terms, and in particular, that you've taken some action towards realising your ambitions. Question: how do you cope with high-pressure situations? This question is designed to test the strength of your ability under pressure. The best tactic is to find the most common type of dilemma for employees in the job you're seeking before your interview, so you can formulate an informed response. What high-pressure situations emerge in this role? How are they handled? And what is a good outcome? This is a great place to discuss what is referred to as the STAR technique. S-T-A-R. S is for situation. You can start by describing a challenging situation you were faced with at work. T is for task. What was the task you needed to accomplish in this instance? A is for activity. What steps did you take to handle the situation? And R is for result. Explain the result of your actions. What was the outcome? To succeed using the STAR technique during a job interview, you'll need to research the company and the position and make a list of the key skills and attributes required. Then memorize some examples from your recent roles that demonstrate your strength in each of these key skills and attributes. You can also check out the YouTube links attached to this presentation to see the STAR technique in action and for some more tips on how to answer tough job interview questions. Finally, your interviewer will likely ask if there are any questions from you. You should always take this opportunity. Not only is it another chance to demonstrate your interest and willingness to learn more, it can also be an opportunity for you to make a more distinct impression on your interviewer. So what should you ask? Well, this depends on what's already been covered during your interview. You don't want to make your interviewer repeat themselves. But some really good questions to ask could be, why is this position available? What training and induction will be given? What prospects are there for personal and professional development in this role? What skills and attributes do successful people at this company usually have? What communication style do you prefer? Or even, what do you, your interviewer, like best about working at the company? Hopefully, following all your preparation, you'll handle your job interview with confidence, reassured by your understanding of all that's involved and clear on how you can contribute to the organisation. But no matter how your interview goes, you should still complete some tasks as a follow-up. Reflect on and evaluate your performance. What went well? What could have gone better? Send a thank you email to the employer. Follow up with the employer at the appropriate time. And make sure you're clear on when this should be. Finally, request some feedback from your interviewer regardless of the outcome. If you weren't successful this time, you may get some ideas about how to improve your performance for next time. It's totally normal to feel anxious or nervous before any job interview. Video interviewing can feel particularly strange if you haven't done it before. But by preparing, practicing, and becoming familiar with the format, you'll be ready to make a great impression in person or on screen. The Skills and Jobs Centre is here to help you too. Please contact us if you need further advice or assistance to prepare for your job interview. And good luck!